Welcome to Coding Literacy Flakes 21 of 40. We're going to be looking at JavaScript Part 1, and we'll see how we append JavaScript to HTML. Basically, JavaScript, unlike CSS purely for publication, making it look like a class magazine or web page. This language here allows you to interact with your web page, and in ways it gives you the illusion of intelligence, that your computer somehow is intelligent, but it's a lot of clever mathematics. Let's get started. As with CSS, we do need to have a HTML page, it's a web page. So the same as before, we'll let the browser know it's going to be HTML5. Doc type HTML. Okay, that lets the browser know we're using HTML5. And let me proceed in setting up the HTML basic structure. Okay, like magic's all typed in. HTML web page starts there, the HTML web page finishes here. The header behind the scenes instructions happen here. In front of the screen instructions happen over there for HTML. But we're going to use another language in addition to HTML, and we'll be using a language called JavaScript. So we let the computer know we're using JavaScript by typing in the tag script. It now knows there is an additional coding instruction to look out for. If you remember, with CSS we use style tags. Here you use script tags. Very similar, but script refers to JavaScript. Okay, the way I'm going to approach JavaScript is, well, mine's going to be very much a procedural language type. We're going to have a sequence of functions. It keeps it nice and neat, and then you can isolate JavaScript down the track and put it somewhere else and just call it up in any HTML page. But we won't be looking at those external JavaScript call-ups. The second way of doing it is object-oriented programming, where you put JavaScript around objects. If you look at W3 schools, they tend to put these JavaScript around objects, which is clever, but the thing is, it's very hard to understand which part's HTML, which part's JavaScript, and it becomes very difficult to comprehend, especially trying to learn JavaScript for the first time. So I'll be using very much a procedural approach. For this, I'm going to define a function. So function is a JavaScript code. Now I'll call this one message. Now message is by definition of what the name of the function is. I could call it anything I want. I decided to call it message. Now whatever I call it here, it's got to be called the same thing in the body section, otherwise we won't be able to find it. And the other thing to point out, JavaScript is very case sensitive. Uppercase and lowercase do make a difference. You've got to be very careful. Things may not work because you've got uppercase in one section, you've got lowercase in another section. Unlike CSS and HTML, it doesn't really care whether it's uppercase or lowercase. JavaScript is quite, well, user savage really in that sense. Okay, the function starts by a brace, an opening brace and a closing brace. So in here there'll be a whole bunch of JavaScript instructions, and the first one to start is printing stuff on screen, and it's a JavaScript document. Right, this is a JavaScript code, and document right starts and stops with a parenthesis. Now this is going to print stuff on screen. Now if you just put numbers in there or words in there, it's going to think it's like a variable for mathematics, or just going to print numbers. But I want to print text. So to let it know we're printing text, I need a quotation. So inside those quotations, it's going to be text. I want to do here, I want to make it look like it's some sort of an intelligent program, but it's not really. I want to put here not much. Really, I need you to code me some more. That doesn't make sense at this point in time, but that's going to be put on screen, and it'll make more sense when I'm finished with the rest of it. Okay, so JavaScript is an interactive program. It means somehow it doesn't just display information like HTML or like a CSS. It's got to retrieve some information from the user, the person using the program, in the form of data. So we're going to retrieve that. Now, first of all, let's put a title. This is HTML. I'm going to put a header title and call it computer. what are you trying to do? So I'm going to ask the computer, what is it trying to do? I'm just waiting there. That's the end of my HTML tag. Now this part here is going to be an input, right? An input sensor, okay? And one of the common ones is button. The button is HTML, and we haven't covered buttons in HTML, but you can look at CSS, it's W3 schools, and you find all the other HTML tags you haven't covered. Button. You just know what type of button. There are many different types of buttons, but we're going to use a standard button. So buttons, the button we're going to be using is a standard button. Pretty simple. So HTML knows that. And on click, this is my input. My input means on click means when the mouse is clicked, and I've got to put it in quotations there. What do you want me to do? Well, up here I've got a function, right? I've got a function called message. So message. It's got a parenthesis. The functions need parentheses because when you do advanced JavaScript, we're not going to do advanced JavaScript in this session, but if you do advanced JavaScript, you need to transfer data between function and other functions. But we're not going to cover that at all. But you need a parenthesis regardless. So we're saying on click, go to the function message and just write that up. Okay, that's the end of my button tag. But I need some sort of label on my button. So I'm going to type in a label. Click me to find out. Okay, what's happening here? We'll have a look. And then the button tag is finished. So the HTML tag is finished. This is a label on the button. All these are HTML, but this one here is a function from JavaScript over here. And let's just save this program and see what happens. Okay. Now, file, save as. I'm going to call this one JavaScript 1. You've got to save it as HTML. HTML because it's a web page. Save. Okay, we've saved it. And now let's have a look at it. So if you go to run it in Chrome, this is what we're going to see. Okay, let's just split that screen so we see what's going on. Okay, over here we've got the browser, and over here we've got Notepad++. There we go. So let's look what's happened here. It's got a landing page, a landing web page. The landing web page says, well, we ignore all the JavaScript stuff because nothing's happened at this point in time. We're just going straight to HTML. Computer, what are you trying to do? Right, see, computer, what are you trying to do? It appears like we're asking the computer a question. It's got a label, it's got a button here. Click me to find out. Click me to find out. There it is. I've typed it in there. It's a button. So I click on the button. There's my input. It's come up with not much really. I need you to code me some more. It's come from here. See the message, the function message. The function message, which message is the name I've given it. All I've got there is type of text. Not much really. I need you to code me some more. It appears somewhat intelligent, but in actual fact it's just an illusion. Like most computing programs, they're not intelligent. Computers have an IQ of 0, you know. Just remember that. So a lot of the clever stuff is done with this type of JavaScript interaction. So here we start again. Computer, what are you trying to do? Click me to find out. Not much really. I need you to code me some more. Thank you for watching.